Welcome back to the Corp. I am your co-host, Big Cat, Dan Katz. You may know me from the #1 sports podcast, Pardon My Take. I'd say it's pretty good. Whatever, some people might not, but I'd say it's pretty good. You go download it right now. You might know my co-host from, 14-time All-Star, 3-time MVP, New York Yankee, Alex Rodriguez. Are you going to say the World Series? Because I always forget the World Series, and you make sure to point that out. I love that. Okay, so we have Kobe Bryant. It was an unreal interview. So much fun to go interview Kobe Bryant. He is so intense. I want to do a little debriefing because we're actually taping this right after it. Before we do that, the Cash App. It is the #1 app in finance, and it is the presenting sponsor of the Corp. You will not get another ad this entire episode. You get to listen to Kobe Bryant. You get to listen to A-Rod. You get to listen to my dumb self talk with ad-free, basically, after you listen to this and after you go download the Cash App. And why should you download the Cash App? Because, like I said, it is the #1 app in finance, and they keep getting better and better with the most powerful debit card in the world, the Cash App Cash Card. The Cash Card comes with boost discounts that are so easy to use. Just order the Cash Card, swipe at your favorite spots like Chipotle, Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, Whole Foods, or any coffee shop, and save 10% or more. Boom. Free money for you. Cash App has been hooking up our friends for so long. Now make sure you support them back. Download the app, get the Cash Card, and rake in that free money. So do it right now because, like I said, they are a presenting sponsor, and we love them. They love the Corp. You need to love them back. It's just a big circle of love. Okay, so Kobe Bryant. Can I just say, we haven't talked, we taped this, we're in LA right now. We taped this, 2 hours ago. We haven't really debriefed, so we're going to actually debrief right now. Kobe Bryant is intense, and I don't know if he liked me, A-Rod. There was a couple, when I asked him about the GOAT thing, that was he stared right through my soul.
So my answer is yes.
I mean, he has a million
Very
stories.
intense.
We could have talked to him for hours. So many stories. The biggest takeaway I had, how similar your business career and his business career are. He talked about the big picture and how even when he was a rookie in the league, he was thinking, okay, at some point I'm going to be, going on from sports and making a living somewhere else and trying to figure out what businesses I'm excited about. And you did the same thing investing in real estate in Seattle when you started out in MLB. And I think big picture, always thinking what's going to happen in 20 years down the line is why Kobe is successful, why you're successful.
15 years ago, they were talking about him not going out to the clubs with his teammates and not going to eat at restaurants. He actually got a bad rap because of that. And he told us today that he was in his room reading and he was writing and practicing. And of course, a year after retirement from basketball, he wins an Oscar. But what I was most impressed with, I got to tell you, they got to be doing big business. Did you see the size of that office? 20,000 square feet.
It was enormous. I'm wondering why the Corp offices aren't as big. There was so much body armor. My tummy started to hurt. This was fun, though, because we talked business with Kobe. We talked playing career. Helicopters. Smush Parker. He still does not like Smush Parker. That was very apparent. Also, the worst shoe that's ever been created, the 2002. I think 2002, he created the Kobe 2s.
He was not happy when you challenged him about that.
When I showed him that shoe.
I thought he was in a jump at you.
He basically, he just pretended that shoe never existed until I showed him. He was like, oh my God, I created that shoe?
He never said the name. He said the other company.
The other company. You can do the math on that. But Kobe Bryant, you know him, 5-time NBA champion. Not the GOAT, but close.
I love Kobe. I'm a Kobe guy.
Oh, you're just
I don't know how to rank him, but I'm a Kobe guy.
What do we get MJ on this podcast? And you're going to say you're an MJ guy.
And a Magic guy. I'm
right.
terrible.
Okay, no,
I'm
you know
such
what?
a hedger.
I'm fine with that. We could do that all day. We'd be like, you know what? If you want to come on the Corp Season 2, we'll be that guy. That's perfect. So, hope you enjoy Kobe Bryant. Please rate, review, subscribe, unsubscribe to this podcast. And more than anything, give us the feedback. Tweet us. Hit us up on Instagram. We're going to be doing a live Instagram in a week, talking to everyone who listens to the Corp. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you got away from each episode. So do that. We'd love to hear from you, but please enjoy our interview with Kobe Bryant.
You're listening to The Corp, presented by Barstool Sports.
Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest. He doesn't need an introduction, but we'll introduce him anyway. 18-time All-Star, 5-time NBA champion. It is Kobe Bryant. We're here at your offices in Newport Beach, and it is the Corp. I'm with, obviously, A-Rod, and I want to start present day and then go backwards.
Sure.
So you have gone from being a transcendent athlete to an unbelievable businessman, and it's very similar to what A-Rod has been doing with the A-Rod Corp.
Yeah.
Mostly from my help. But have you noticed, do you attack business the same way as sports? And have you ever had a moment where you're like, I got to chill out because the business world's not like the sports world?
No, same, but also different, right? Same in the sense that the attention to detail is there, just like it is in sport, the attention to detail. Right, but it's different because of the intensity that you bring. You know, it's not like a game. It's not like practice, right? You have to have patience. You have to challenge people. You have to hire well and find people that have a certain level of, that demand excellence from themselves, right? And have that attention to detail about themselves. Mm-hmm. And then you wind up building a team of people that have that passion and commitment to excellence. So that's the difference, is that now I'm kind of more in a GM position as opposed to being a player that is on the ground floor bringing out the intensity in each guy every single play. It's a little different.
Have you noticed a moment where you're like, I can't be as intense as I was during sports. I can't demand people to be here till midnight or practice without a ball for 3 hours? Or
listen, my thing is really simple here, is that I expect excellent work. We all do. So I don't care if you're here in the office at 6 a.m. and you leave at midnight. If the work that you do is average, then this is not the home for you. Conversely, you cannot be in the office at all and have excellent work. This is the place for you. Mm-hmm. So I don't really care if you're here. There's a lot of guys that get in the gym and work hard, but then they can't transition that to 7:30.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
I can already tell that I wouldn't make it one day in this office. I'm really good at looking busy, but not doing anything. So that would be a problem.
You gotta get results.
So Kobe, one of the things that I've been super impressed with by watching kind of your organization, how you transitioned, is really the team that you surround yourself with. Whether it's from Brian to Molly to the rest of your team. What are the characteristics that you're looking for to bring into your team? Is it much like you want a teammate for the Lakers, those type of, or what are you looking for specifically?
Yeah, the most important thing is curiosity first. I want curious people that ask questions, that want to figure things out, figure out new ways to do things. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing. And then from that curiosity, having the determination to see that curiosity through, mm-hmm. right? To figure out those steps. And if you figure out, okay, this is a particular course of action that we feel like we should be taking. Has it been done before? No, but that's exciting to me. Let's figure it out. Mm-hmm. Those are the characteristics that I look for, first and foremost.
So you say curiosity. I read a story how you text with business people 3 a.m, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Mike Rapoli, I think you do it with people in the tech industry. Yeah. Has anyone been like, yo, Kobe, just chill out? Stop texting me.
No, because they're all about as crazy as I am.
Yeah. What is that, though? Is there can you see it in a person the minute you meet them, like this guy or this woman, they just want it more than everyone else?
I think so. I think you can sense it. You can, when you're having a conversation with somebody, you can tell if they're truly passionate about what it is that they're doing. Yeah.
I have it?
Listen, bro, you can't build what you've built and not be that. Right? If you didn't have it, you wouldn't be sitting here with A-Rod anyway, because you don't put up with that shit either.
True. I've kind of snaked my way in, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can certainly recognize that, and you feel a sense of familiarity with that person.
You said, I read a quote that you said you love business as much as basketball. There's no way that's true.
It's 100% true.
There's no way. Basketball was your life, your passion, everything. You're telling me you love doing business as much. If you could, basically snap a finger and be 25-year-old Kobe or the Kobe today, you wouldn't go back and keep playing basketball?
No, because I've already done it. See, here's the thing. When I was playing and teammates would say, oh, Kobe's not out on the road. What is he doing? You see me on the plane, he's reading. What is he reading? He's writing. What is he writing? Mm-hmm. I'm practicing. Mm-hmm. I'm writing. I'm practicing. I'm understanding how to tell stories. I'm reading Joseph Campbell and how to create arcs, compelling arcs and plots. I'm reading that stuff. So this is going back 15 years, right? So I don't just retire, right there basketball, and luck into winning an Oscar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That stuff comes from hard work and from studying for 15 years how to write and how to organize structure, right? And you can't do that without having a serious love or commitment to the craft.
And that's, I mean, Alex has told the story, but, you know, your rookie year in Seattle when you started investing in real estate and basically while you were playing baseball, also getting, you know, working in business and learning the ropes in business.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Kobe and I have so much in common. We kind of came up at the same time. But one of the things we have in common is we would show up at universities. And I know he would show up at Duke. I took classes at Columbia Business School, Miami Business School. And people were like, why aren't you in a yacht? Why aren't you on vacation? I'm like, I'm practicing. I am getting ready. I don't know when they're going to kick me out of this game. And at the same time, it's not just about moving forward, but also it's about having fun. I agree with Kobe. I sometimes forget that I played basketball in the major leagues baseball for 23 years.
Yeah.
Because I'm so excited in the moment, being present.
That sounds really weird to people.
Right.
They think we're lying.
It does.
It's really
I
weird.
feel like you're
How is
lying.
that possible? There's no way, man. Like, you know, like I remember I said, I told somebody, I said, listen, if what I do in the next 20 years is not better than my last 20, then I failed. And they're like, well, that's disrespectful to what you've done the last 20 years. How could you say? My man, I wouldn't accomplish what I accomplished my last 20 years if I did not have this mentality to begin with. So,
yeah, I mean, it does sound. I think to the average person like myself, it's, you know, it's crazy because obviously a dream when you were a kid was to play professional sports. So you couldn't imagine anything higher than that.
Yeah.
And then you guys obviously lived it, and then you move on, and it's like, well, you know, this is the next chapter. I want to go back real quick though, Duke. Where would you have ranked on the most hated Duke players if you had gone to Duke?
probably number one.
I mean, probably not more than Christian
the most
Laettner.
shit.
Yeah, maybe 2, 3. You would have gone to Duke though?
Well, here's the story about that is Coach K kept recruiting me. He kept recruiting me. He didn't just resign to the fact that I'm going to go pro. He was persistent about it. So at that moment in time, for me to make a decision and say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to go pro, it would have been Duke because Coach K just kept on. Roy Williams did too when he was at Kansas. Dean Smith did not. Dean sent me a letter, and he was like, hey, listen, this is a home for you, but from what I hear, you're good enough to go pro, and you probably will, so I don't want to waste your time. But, you know, this is a home for you if you ever want to take a visit here and, you know, and change your mind or whatever.
How about Bobby Knight?
I did get a letter from Bobby Knight, but that wasn't something that, you know, I was.
I would imagine he
excited.
does like reverse psychology, like you stink, Kobe. You could never play for me.
Yeah, you know, that's Phil Jackson does that too.
Yeah, right.
By the way, he just does it through the media.
So I mean, that's interesting though because you obviously was it a hard decision? Like I'm going pro, or did you just know? Because A-Rod obviously did the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, as a young kid, 17, 18, going to be a pro athlete.
It was a tough decision. Ultimately, the key factor for me wasn't whether or not I was ready. It was the fact that if I wasn't ready, I was determined to figure out how to get ready. And ultimately, even if I was ready, I still need to improve anyway. Mm-hmm. Right? So the work's not going to stop. And it was just a matter of, do you want to come to the league and learn from the best? And I'm doing the math in my head. I'm looking at Stockton, how many years he's playing, Drexler, how many years he's playing, MJ, how many years more he's playing, Hakeem. And these are players that I studied growing up. And the best way to learn from them is to have that jump off of the film, jump off of the page, and see it face to face. That's the best way to learn. Because it was like a database. I had everything in my mind of what they could do, what they didn't like to do, where they did it, when they did it. Now, if I could see that up close, that is the greatest form of education that I could possibly receive. So that's when I was like, no, I'm going to go pro.
So that's interesting because I think there's a sports debate that's had a lot where a guy, it's more happens in the NFL where a quarterback comes out and people will say, well, he was in the wrong system and his offensive line stunk right away and it kind of ruined his career. Do you think with what you just said, it sounds like you think that if you're going to make it, you're going to make it no matter what. Yeah. And there's no like, oh, well, things didn't go your way the first year and it ruined the trajectory of your career. It's either you have it or you don't.
That sounds like excuses to me. I mean, you got to figure it out, right? If you really have an obsession to figure it out, you will figure it out, right? And every puzzle is constructed differently. All right? AI's situation when he came into the league was different than mine. Mike's situation in Chicago was different than mine, right? Everybody has a different puzzle, man. You just got to figure out your own puzzle.
It's interesting to think about like the sliding doors of like if you stay at Charlotte,
Right.
or if you know what I mean,
Right.
You know, or we can talk about it now. The Bulls.
Yeah.
I've always been intrigued because you know I'm a Bulls fan, and there were two different times where it was like Kobe's coming to the Bulls.
Yeah.
And in 2004, 2007. You know, even in 2007, it was even into the season. I remember you had that video too, like buy a Bulls jersey, fellas.
Yeah.
And like saying, you know, if you want to be a Kobe fan, when you were thinking about going to the Bulls, there's always this narrative no one wants to play in Michael's shadow. Were you thinking, no, I want to be in Chicago and go past Michael?
No, I was thinking like if you're going to be a great franchise, you have to have multiple great players. That's what the Lakers have done. You don't hear that narrative in LA.
Yeah.
You had Jerry, you have Elgin, you had Magic, you had myself, you had Kareem, you had Shaq. I mean, you got LeBron. I mean, it's just one of those franchises that continue. Yankees too, right? So why are the Bulls any different?
Right.
Just because you had Michael, now everybody's intimidated to go play by it. That's ridiculous.
Well, I obviously I think the narrative is basically made so that the front office can get a pass for never signing anyone big. That's really what it comes down to.
That's probably true.
But you were ready to do it.
True.
I mean, would you have? I mean, Was there a part of you mentally that was like, I'm gonna be a Bull?
Yeah. Like we were planning, looking at homes, schools, the whole thing.
That's crazy.
The whole thing, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know that Jerry West, Michael Jordan was like a big brother to you.
Yeah.
Brian Shaw, I know there's a lot of people that influenced you in a big way, and we're going to get to that. But in the business community, some of the titans you've talked to, tell us some of the people you've learned from the most and some of the people that have mentored you the most and some of the people you look up to.
Yeah, so the people I've learned from the most, when I had the idea of first starting a studio, the first person I called was Oprah Winfrey. And we sat on the phone about an hour and a half, 2 hours, went through the history of building Harpo and you know, things that she felt she did well, things that she felt like she didn't do so well, and kind of walked me through her journey, you know, to help me on mine. Another person is Mark Parker, CEO of Nike. He and I speak often. I mean, he's really helped me through a lot of decisions. Tim Cook and Johnny Ives, Apple. So I would say those three are the biggest ones that have had the most influence in what I'm currently building now.
Any common theme between those three that you kept saying, they keep saying the same similar thing?
The amount of mistakes that are made, right? Because we tend to look at them and say, okay, you know, they don't make mistakes, they don't make bad decisions, and that couldn't be any further from the truth. You all make mistakes, you all make decisions, and you just continue to plow forward. You continue to figure it out.
So I wanted to touch on the evolution of you as a teammate. In 2004, Phil Jackson writes the book.
Yeah.
And is like, Kobe's uncoachable.
I'm still waiting on my royalties on
Yeah, he says Kobe's uncoachable. What was your reaction in that moment when you see that, you read that, a guy that you have a relationship with, you had success with?
I was frustrated by it. You know what I mean? Because it was always a type of relationship where it was like, you know, for me, it's just come at me direct. Like, I'm right here. You don't have to BS me. We can just hash this out, you and me. And he would rather not do that because that's uncomfortable, right? He'd rather go to the media and do it. So a lot of the stuff that I read in the book was the first time I've ever heard any of this stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm literally right here.
Right.
You know? So when he came back, you know, that's one of the things that he said. He apologized for. He was like, listen, you know, I understand. We should just have a direct relationship. And that's how we were able to kind of move forward. But it was really frustrating, man.
The apology is good, but the royalty would be nice too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I told him, I said, this is like your third book on me now, dude.
Right.
Like,
Just keep
come on,
writing
man.
books.
Like,
I'm going to
dude.
write a book on this, like 45-minute
Yeah,
interview.
like, where's my royalty
Yeah, no,
check?
it's going to be great. Was there any truth to it, though? Do you think, was there a moment when you read that and you had to, you know, kind of take a look at yourself and be like, maybe I am not the best teammate? Because there's always this really interesting line to me when you're watching, you know, athletes at their highest level.
Yeah.
A guy who is a clear alpha leader, he runs the team. There's that line of, is he from like his ego is out of control to he just wants the most out of people.
Right.
You know, like Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr in the face. Like, you know, there's stories of you pushing your teammates and you know, maybe getting some of them kind of crumble in the moment.
Yeah.
Did you see that and kind of reflect and say, hey, maybe I need to do this differently?
Well, I think there's a couple answers to that. So, drive a hard bargain. The people that I've always had issues or problems with are the people that don't demand excellence for themselves. I won't tolerate that. Because when the career is said and done, they're not going to be looking at you, a player on his team, and saying, you didn't win a championship. No, they're going to be looking here, right? So it's my responsibility to make sure everybody's holding themselves accountable. I'm holding you accountable. If we just played a back-to-back and we have practice the next day, your ass better be there, tape ready to go, right? Because I'm there and I'm ready, and I just got finished lifting weights for 2 hours, right? So I hold guys to a higher standard, and I don't sugarcoat stuff. Never have, never will, right? And that tends to rub some people the wrong way. Now, teams that we won championships on, me and all of those guys, still close to this day, extremely close, right? Lamar and I still close.
Fisher.
Shannon Brown, D. Fish, all of my guys.
Shaq.
We're all Shaq, right? Even Shaq. Powell.
Did you win a championship with Smush Parker? No.
No.
Okay,
He and I
so
don't talk, by the way.
I was going to
So,
say,
yeah,
that answers that question.
That's one of the people that would probably say I was a bad teammate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But most of the other guys, man, that you wind up having this bond. So, you can't have those kind of relationships with guys years after playing with them and be a bad teammate.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair.
It's funny. I want to piggyback on that because it is so true. I mean, I wasn't as fortunate to win that many championships or as good to win as many championships as Kobe. But in 2009, that roster, I mean, they're like 24 brothers. And to this day, if one of them texts me right back, I mean, within 5 minutes, I'm hitting them back. Because you build this incredible bond that only if you're one of the, in our case, 25, I think 12 in your case, is this bond that never goes away. And all of a sudden, you become a good teammate.
Yeah.
You become nice. You become this. But it's a hard line between the best leaders are not always the most popular ones. And I think sometimes people have a hard time determining.
They do. And I'll give you a story of the stuff that was frustrating, and the whole selfishness stuff and all that stuff was frustrating. Phil would come to me and say, there was a year there in 2003 where I had 40 points in 9 straight games, right? Shaq was out. It was a toe thing. So Phil comes to me before the stretch and says, Kobe, we need you to take over the offense. I'm like, all right, cool. So that literally,
say no more.
I got it. Fine. I got it. So that literally started the streak of 40 straight games, 40 points in 9 straight games. Shaq comes back from injury, and Phil goes, I still continue to do it, right? And then Phil calls me to his office, goes, hey, we're starting to lose the big fella. What do you mean? Well, he's not getting the attention. This 40-point streak is starting to kind of take away his fire to prove something, right? So I need you to start dialing it back. I'm like, what? He says, we're going to lose him, and we need him in June. Okay. All right. You have a game against the Clippers. I think I had like 38 or something like that. And I had a chance to score 40 again. It was a blowout game. I dumped the ball in the Shaq instead of shooting a wide open shot. The 40-point streak ended that night.
Wow.
That was it. And that's inside stuff that people don't know.
Right.
Please tell me you went into
people
Phil's
don't
office
know.
and said, are you happy
Yes.
now?
Yeah.
Because Phil was like, hey, we got to dial it back. We're starting to
that's
lose the big fella.
Perfect Kobe, too. He's like, you got to dial it back. You're like, all right, I'll score 38 instead of 40.
Well, I mean, this is the streak thing. It would have been 10 in a row. I would have broke a record.
Right.
Right. I would have broke the record. But instead, nah.
What do you think? I mean,
story.
your relationship with Shaq, I feel like, is one of the most intriguing relationships in all pro sports.
Yeah.
Were you guys ever at a point where you just wouldn't even speak?
No, because we were very, very direct. Like I said before, I'm very straightforward, right? I don't care if you're 7'2" or 6'2". If I got an issue with you, I'm going to let you know. So no, because we're always speaking. Just sometimes it was more volatile than others.
Right.
But we're always speaking, always direct.
Yeah. So, and when that all falls apart, I mean, what was your biggest, where would you say the biggest problem with your communication? Was it, Shaq not coming to
it wasn't
season in shape?
Well, it's funny. When we sat down, we did the interview together. He finally copped to the fact that after we won championships, he was like, okay, I can just relax and coast over the summer because I know I got a teammate who's going to be training 8-10 hours a day. I was like, see, that's the BS.
That would piss me off.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Right.
That's the issue. But also, it became it's not something that we couldn't have worked out either because we've been doing it, right? But I got to a point in my career where it was the rumblings, and some of it created by him that, Kobe can't win without me. And it was like, hold up. No, it's not true.
Right.
It's not true.
Right.
And I'm not going to retire and have people hold that over my head I said, no, let's find out.
Yeah.
So it was just time to go separate ways.
So that really did bother you, and it's interesting because in today's NBA, I mean, you see a guy like Kevin Durant go to Golden State.
Yeah.
You would never have made that move.
No, I wouldn't have. But, different strokes for different folks, man. When I was coming up, it was Kobe can't win without Shaq. But I've never heard that argument made about Magic and Kareem.
Right.
Or Michael and Pip.
Right.
But that was the thing being thrown my way. And I was like, all right, well, it is what it is. Let's see.
Do you think that you got criticized more than a guy like Kevin Durant or the guys who are playing now?
No, at the moment, it's all different according to the moment in time, right? It always seems like more when you're in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's no more, no less. I think now with social media, things tend to perpetuate much, much faster. But back then, conversely, the stories tend to sit a lot longer.
Right.
There's less fires coming.
Yeah. Do you understand on social media that you have the craziest fan base of all time?
I understand that my fans are very passionate.
The Kobe stans are insane. They're insane.
I have a passionate following.
Like, they are insane. Whenever the MJ LeBron thing comes up, the Kobe stans, like, they poke out their head out from under a bush and they're like, just attack you.
Yeah, well, I have passionate fans.
Was there a part of you when LeBron came here seeing maybe some of the Lakers fans be like, no, Kobe's our guy? Did that? I mean, obviously you want to welcome LeBron, but it shows your impact on the team, the organization.
No, I mean, my impact on this organization is to look forward. If I've taught this fan base anything, is that we want excellence, we want championships, and it's about the purple and gold. It's not about one player. I came in here with Magic, and Magic embraced me with open arms, as did Kareem and Worthy and everybody else, and Jerry West and Elgin and all those guys. It's our responsibility to do the same thing for the next generation that comes in, and I take that stuff deadly seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, no, guys, we need more championships.
Yeah.
Talking about deadly serious, I mean, all you got to do in any conversation, if it's getting boring, all you got to say is Kobe LeBron, Kobe Michael, Kobe any of that. I've been a Michael guy my whole life.
Yeah,
Magic guy.
he's the GOAT.
And
Who's the GOAT?
See, that's the type of immature question.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
exactly.
It's who's the GOAT. I'm the regular sports fan. This is what we talk about.
I know. This is what regular fans talk about. I get it.
You don't. So you're saying you're the GOAT?
What I'm saying is regular people ask really simple questions sometimes. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And because I'm not a basketball expert, I just say I'm a Kobe guy. And people, they want to get debate. I don't debate.
Yeah.
I just am a Kobe guy.
Well, here's a fun fact for you, Kobe. LeBron has as many losses in the finals as Michael Jordan has wins in the finals.
I don't care.
So I do want to talk about mentors, Kobe, because I know that mentorship has been a big part of your life, both you as a mentor and as a mentee.
Yeah.
But one of the interesting things for me, being a 6'3" shortstop coming up out of Miami, I had one guy to look at because I was scared as fuck that they were going to move me, and I'm like, to third base or to the outfield. I'm like, no, I can play shortstop. You got to leave me. Look at Cal. So I studied. Back in the day, we had the tapes. We didn't have all the
I
technology.
remember that. Yeah.
And I studied every tape I can get my hands on, and I would go at night visualizing how he moved his body. He was 6'4", 230. That was enormous for a shortstop. And not only did I study him, people said, well, you're starting to look like him. And I'm like, yeah, that's right, because I want to be like him.
Right.
And then Cal and I became very, very close. And I remember one trip we went to Japan representing the U.S., and I literally sat in his seat next to him for like 10 hours. And he said, finally, dude, I got to tap out. I need a nap. And I was so enamored by him. So it was such a wonderful treat for me to have that with my mentor. Kind of take us behind kind of the curtains with Michael. Was there ever a moment that you guys spoke that you felt like it energized you and you learned from him?
Yeah, it was crazy, man, because my favorite player was Magic growing up. And then I quickly realized my father stole all my height, and I wasn't going to be a 6'9" point guard. So I had to, so I looked at this young guy coming up. And the thing that I marveled at wasn't the fact that he was getting to the rim and doing these fancy stuff. It was like, how is he getting to the rim? How is he doing it? Right? And you look at the footwork, you look at the fundamentals, you look at the spacing, the pacing, right? And all those little things, the angles. And that's what becomes fascinating. It's like, okay, how do I get there? Right, so I started studying all those basics. And then when I came to the league, the first time I played against him, I won his respect because it was like, this kid's not scared of me at all, right? And he saw kindred spirit from that standpoint, and that started a relationship. And it became something where it was like, text him anytime, hits me right back. Questions, hits me right back, and we're talking all the time. And in fact, we were just speaking the other day, in fact, because I was talking about he hit me up, say happy Thanksgiving and stuff, and how's family doing, how the kids doing. He knows my middle child is playing basketball and stuff, right? So he's asking about it, how she's doing. And I said, she's good. And I said, at 12, I'm like having a hard time remembering what I was doing at basketball at 12. And I'm like, kids nowadays try to do too much. Like from a skill standpoint, they try to have them do all this fancy stuff versus like the basic stuff. And so I teach my kids the most basic stuff, and we just do it over and over. But I asked Mike, I said, what were you doing at 12? You remember what you were doing at basketball at 12? And he goes, dude, I was playing baseball.
That's right.
Let that sink in for a second.
That was his dad's
favorite. For people out there who are like overtraining their kids at 12 and like doing all this fancy stuff, just let that sink in for a second.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's crazy to think about that.
Yeah, but he's a great mentor from all aspects.
I love Mike.
Yeah,
all aspects.
I mean, I love him too. But I don't know why. I don't know why I said Michael earlier. Like I know him. I probably should put a little respect on it. And just say the GOAT.
Michael got stands too.
Yeah, Michael
got stands.
Listen,
too.
I'll stand all the time. I gave you that LeBron stat. You don't think that I've said that to like everyone I come across?
Here's the thing though, man, is that like things that MJ was doing, he learned from David Thompson and Jerry and those guys. Stuff that I've done, I've learned from MJ. Stuff that Bron does, learned from me and playing on the Olympic team and the work ethic and all that stuff. It's a chain thing, man. I know people want to talk about who's this, who's that, because it fills up good conversation time or downtime, whatever the case may be. But for us as athletes, it's really a chain reaction. You can't have one without the other. It's just not possible.
That's a good point. Point. What did you see the Jimmy Butler stuff? He, obviously he demanded a trade. Yeah. He went and beat the starters with the third stringers. Yeah. And a lot of people were saying that's kind of a Kobe or MJ move, where it's like he's pushing his team and saying, "You need me." Did you think that was a move that you would do, or something that was detrimental?
I think most of my teams would just call it a Monday.
taking the third stringers and beating the first
Monday.
Team?
It's just a regular practice, man.
Yeah. I mean, I read a story that you used to play guys to 100. You'd be like, you have to stay in this gym and play me to 100. And I mean, what was the biggest margin of victory you'd ever win at?
In high school, I used to spot guys 99 to 100. No kidding. But listen, these practices are meant to be competitive. They're meant to be competitive. If your practices aren't more competitive than the games themselves, you're doing the wrong thing. And most of these teams and coaches have gotten into a mindset of resting players. Oh, it's too much. We're not going to practice light day. Phil never gave us a light day. There's no days off. You show up and you work. You practice. And practices are going to be worse. They're going to be more physical. There's going to be more trash talking. And I'm going to let you know. Right? If you didn't show up today, I'm going to let you know. And it's going to be embarrassing, and you're going to hate it. But when Game 7 rolls around, the NBA Finals, you will be prepared.
Who would win one-on-one, number 8 Kobe versus number 24 Kobe to 100?
I think I would say number 8 would win.
Okay.
I would say number 8 would win. 2003, number 8.
Yeah. The 40-point streak. That had to be cut short.
Yeah. That's the only trash talking me and MJ have had, by the way. It's his 91 MJ versus my 03.
Yes. Yeah. You said that Tony Allen was the toughest guy to defend you. Who was the toughest guy to defend?
Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Kevin Durant. That was the one that I retired without really having being able to figure out what it is that he, how I can stop him.
Why?
When he first came in the league, he was easy to defend because he couldn't go right and shoot. You should kind of shoot across his face. And so that was a weakness that he had. Also in the post, he couldn't turn left shoulder. Everything was right shoulder. So that gave me areas that I could shut off. Right? And then he started developing it. And now he can pull up left. He can pull up right. He can shoot the long ball. He has runners, left hand, right hand. Before he had a left hand finish at the rim, I could always send him left, force him all the way to the basket. Even with the advantage of his size, he was still uncomfortable finishing with his left. So I could clamp the right hand and now force him into tough situations. But now he developed that. So then I couldn't really figure out, is this a rhythm thing? I'm trying to count the seconds that he takes to make his moves. When does he make them? At what times in the game? I couldn't really figure out that rhythm yet. So I retired not being able to figure him out.
When you say Tony Allen was the toughest to guard you, where does Ruben Patterson, the Kobe stopper, the original Kobe stopper?
No, he's not on the list. I mean, look, Rube.
That was my favorite thing
I know.
ever.
Listen,
The
I love
Kobe
Rube.
stopper.
So when Rube and I played together, he was the one player that would compete against me hard every day. I mean, he would show up every day. He had that kind of Bob Huggins, Cincinnati, tough mindset type of thing, right? And so I love that about him. But then now he's a free agent, and now he's like, oh, yeah, I'm the Kobe stopper. I used to lock him up in practice. So I called him up. I said, Rube, dude, if you need help with the new deal, let me know. Like, I will go to the media and be like, yo, nobody guarded me better than Ruben Patterson. I seen this guy every day in practice. I will help you with your new deal.
Right.
But now you done pissed me off because now you didn't let me know. Now you went out there and mouthed off. Now I got to kill you every time I play you, and it's not going to be a good situation for you.
I loved the every now and then, like, someone would be like, I'm the new Kobe stopper. And it's
dude,
like, what are you doing? You're just making it worse for yourself.
Man, my favorite thing was seeing Sean Kemp before a playoff game. Ruben Patterson had his feet in the ice bucket.
Yes, I remember that.
Kobe stopper.
The Kobe stopper. The Kobe stopper.
All right, come take this
I remember
45.
that video. Yeah.
Come take this 45.
Yeah, that was the NBA on NBC. The intro.
yeah,
He's
it's
sitting
like,
with the ice bucket, the Kobe stopper. The Kobe stopper.
Another thing we have in common is that, we had knee issues. A lot of people don't know that I'm very grateful because my knees were banged up, and you said, Alex, you got to go see my guy in Germany.
Yeah.
So I went to see Dr. Peter Welling. And literally, since you sent me there, my knee has not hurt. We won a championship. We've done probably played the last 5 years pain-free.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your routine. You're in Newport Beach, and you take a helicopter. Walk us through it and why and how that started. A lot of people don't know that story.
Yeah, so I always get to practice really early. My routine is always the same. I'd wake up 4 a.m, and I'd lift weights, really early, 5 a.m. Get home at about 6:30 in time to wake up the kids for school. And then I take the kids to school every morning. That's what I do. I take them to school, and then after I take them to school, I go to practice. I drive to practice. And this is before people started really moving down south. So I can get down to L.A. in 30, 40 minutes, right? So I practice. I'd stay late after practice, get my shots up, treatment up, drive back, and I can get back in time to pick the kids up from school, after school activities, all that fun stuff, even on weekends. But then traffic started getting really, really bad. Right, and I was sitting in traffic, and I wound up missing like a school play because I was sitting in traffic, and this thing just kept mounting. And I had to figure out a way where I could still train and focus on the craft, but still not compromise family time. And so that's when I looked into helicopters and be able to get down and back in 15 minutes, and that's when it started. And so my routine was always the same: weights early in the morning, kids to school, fly down, practice like crazy, do my extra work, media, everything I needed to do, fly back, get back in carpool line, pick the kids up. And my wife was like, listen, I can pick them up. I'm like, no. I want to do that because you have road trips and times where you don't see your kids, man,
Right.
So like every chance I get to see them and spend time with them, even if it's 20 minutes in the car, like I want that, right? So that would be my routine all the time.
So no nap, though? Because you had no nap because you didn't have time for that.
If I was tired, I'd take a nap.
Yeah.
Like I pick them up from school, right? Go home, I lay down for about an hour or so, and then I go to the game. But that wasn't like a set routine for me. If I was tired, I went to sleep. If I wasn't, I didn't.
Kobe, about if you had a road game, say in Miami,
Yeah.
7:30 game, same, you would get up early and do weights?
Get up early, do weights, right? Have a breakfast,
Yeah.
get on the bus, go to shoot around, get your shots up, come back to the room, do treatment, ice, stretch. I may watch a movie. I may watch a little extra film, right? Depending on
And
the
what
game.
time would be the bus to the stadium?
So we had 2 buses. First bus was generally 4:30, 4:45. Second bus was generally like 5:30.
Which bus were you on?
Generally the early one.
Just to get treatment and get ready?
Just to get treatment and get shots up. Because I like getting the arenas. And sometimes I would actually get a car and leave before the first bus. Because even though the first bus is leaving early, there's still people in the stands coming.
Yeah.
And I like getting to arenas when there's nobody in there and you can kind of feel the purity of the place.
Yeah.
Especially in a road environment.
Like Hoosiers, yeah.
Yeah, when
Sounds
nobody's
great.
there, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? There's a certain
Yeah.
purity to that.
And your routine at that time, how many shots are you trying to get up at that time?
So it depends. So like if I was playing the Spurs, for example, the amount of shots varies, depends on how I'm feeling physically. But the spots, if I was playing the Spurs, were always like short porch, right? Short corner shots, mid elbow shots, those type of shots, because those are the shots that they'll give up. They'll always give up. Or, screen roll action, Tim is always backing up. You got a little short pull-up, right? So I would go through those. And then if I was playing like Memphis and got to wrestle with Tony Allen, I work on a lot of back-to-basket stuff, right? Putting my body on Tony, making sure my foot works right to elevate, make sure I'm hiding the ball that he can't swipe and take it, going through those muscle memory things. So the positions of the shots would vary depending on the opponent.
Yeah. All right, you have to go in a second because you are a very busy man. I'm going to do rapid fire real quick.
All right.
Just give me one word, one sentence answers. Matt Barnes incident. It went re-viral. Was he actually throwing the ball, pump faking it right in your face?
Man, as far as I remember, yeah. I mean, all I can go by is what Matt said.
Okay.
I mean, I just saw him. I just worked out his kids out here like a week ago for their birthday, and he was just, when he first came to the Lakers, he was like, man, I don't understand how the hell you did not flinch.
Okay, so he was doing it right in your face. That one, people were ruining a great memory. Mark Madsen dancing.
A real life Elaine dance move from Seinfeld.
That's good. That's a good one. Your 2000 rap album. Were you just like, fuck it, I can do anything?
It was poetic.
Yeah,
it was poetic. No, it wasn't that bad. The album itself wasn't that bad. Itself wasn't that bad, but it taught me how to write.
Okay. The Kobe 2s, the worst shoe of all time.
Kobe 2s, which ones?
No, I'll show you the picture.
Nike ones?
No.
The other company?
Those?
Oh, that doesn't count.
Yeah, those count.
That company doesn't count.
What do you count?
That company doesn't count.
The worst shoes of all time.
No,
What about this?
That's what taught me that I need to lead the design charge.
That picture. What was the thought process?
That picture's awesome.
This is like the A-Rod taking kissing himself in the mirror.
They doctored the hell out that picture. Was
there a photographer being like, Kobe, this
First of all,
I've
listen,
never seen that.
I'm an African American, but I am not that dark. Let's start there. And then the hat and the wardrobe and all that, it's.
Yeah, a photographer.
Somebody took liberties.
Yes, that's when he took the picture of himself, A-Rod kissing himself in the mirror. He's like, photographer's like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
and then it comes out and you're like, whoops.
Yeah.
All right, what about the Lil Wayne song, Kobe Bryant? Do you listen to it every day?
Every day in the car, I listen to it. It hypes me up. Yeah. No. Yo, he called me after the Denver series. He called me. He was like, man, that performance just motivated the hell out of me. I think it was like Game 6. He's like, I'm going to do a song. I was like, okay, can I do a song? I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, I thought he was just kind of BSing or whatever. Before the Celtics series, he sends me the song. And I was like, oh, you were serious?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
2002 Western Conference Finals. Was it rigged?
Well, what's the official's name?
Tim Donaghy.
Well, he definitely had money on it.
Yep.
So that's a fact.
Yes.
So from that standpoint, yes.
Yes.
But from the Kings missing 20-something free throws in Game 7.
Good point. Good point.
Unless you go and check their bank accounts, I don't know what else to tell you.
People forget that. All right. Last one for me. Has there ever been a triple team you didn't want to shoot a shot through?
Such a normal, average person question.
Oh, come on.
It is.
No, you just don't like the question because you know it's true. You like
it's such an average person.
Like, hey, by the way, come over triple team me, then I'll shoot.
If you're a Michael Jordan stan, yeah?
Yes.
If a player today took 49 shots in an NBA Finals game and their team lost, what would you say?
Well, I'd say he probably sounds like he went 6-0 in NBA Finals.
Just think about it.
Yeah,
think about it.
That's what that sounds like.
Just think about it. I'm just saying, you revisionist history sometimes.
The revisionist history is actually going the wrong way though, because I think people are starting to say Michael Jordan played against no one in the NBA. In the NBA,
no, here's the thing, man.
Bums and all this
at the end of the day, what he and I always say, at the end of the day, our goal and our mission, Magic's, Birds, everybody's, is to win championships. That's it. I don't care how you get there. I don't care what you do to get there. I don't care if you got to pick up a team and I don't care what you do. I don't care if you have to yell at it doesn't matter. The goal is to win. Period.
Yeah.
So, Kobe, I want to first of all say thank you for Dan and I, and I've always been a longtime admirer. Thank you for being such a good friend, and also to continue to set the gold standard, not only for athletes, but for retired athletes. So thank you and continue great success.
Appreciate it, my man. Thank you.
And the triple team question was a good question.
Well, it depends who's on the team. If I got Smush Parker lagging behind me to shoot,
you'll shoot
you best believe I'm shooting that motherfucker.
100 shots.
If I got D Fish back there, I'm kicking that shit back. 100%.